This is Local 3 News at 4.
The news continues as we approach 4:30 here in Chattanooga, and Mayor Tim Kelly is here with us today to answer our questions. Thanks for coming by.
As always, I enjoy it. Thank you.
Good
to see you.
Well, let's get started. Tennessee's House of Representatives passed a bill that makes it a criminal offense to engage in an adult cabaret performance on public property, specifically in view of minors. Now, I remember in the past you had declared Pride Week in the city. So do you think this is an appropriate bill?
Well, look, I mean, I think there are laws that are already in the books that protect children from obscenity. So again, I do think it's also a parental rights issue. So again, I try to focus on the city, on the things that we can control at the city, and that's as far as it goes. The police did, of course, investigate the incident in question here in the city and found nothing untoward or wrong, no criminal wrongdoing. So I don't see that it accomplishes much.
All right. A few days ago, it came up in the news that $190,000 was being spent on, I think, what's called the mayor's conference room.
Yes.
And people are going to react, as you might expect, like, wait a minute, I still have that pothole out here, and they're spending $190,000 on, new paint or something. Why is that necessary?
Well, I should say first, we've fixed 40,000 potholes so far, and we're still going. But look, it's the largest conference room at the city. We host all sorts of business leaders we're trying to attract to town, dignitaries and so on. It hasn't been updated in nearly 20 years. And frankly, the city's got to keep going 24/7. There's some pictures up of the conference room there. And it hasn't had any new AV equipment or equipment for us to be able to do remote meetings and things of that nature. So, we did an RFP process. It was the cheapest bid available. Everything out there is more expensive these days, but we'll make sure that the city gets its money worth.
And to follow up on that a little bit, I know that rooms like that in city hall, city government locations are sometimes intended to impress visitors from out of town and, folks who are coming in talking about making an investment. Do things like that matter?
They do, of course, right? I mean, again, we're the gig city, and I think not so much the fanciness as much as the technology, I think, is the important part. We have to be able to, walk the walk as well as we talk the talk.
Public transit, you've been talking about that. That's another area in Chattanooga that hasn't really budged a lot over the decades. No. Well, what's to do with that?
Well, we've just replaced, or rather appointed 9 new board members at CARTA. I do think we have an incredible opportunity with CARTA. We are now at this point in time with technology, with automation, with micromobility, where I think it's time to reintroduce CARTA to the public and really breathe new life into it and hopefully put the R back in it, right? And make it a functional transit system that municipalities from around the area will want to help fund and help participate in.
What is it that's keeping people, as you say, regionally, from embracing CARTA?
That's a great question, David. Again, public transit has never been a huge thing in the South, but I think people are beginning to realize that it's critically important for workforce development. And again, our ridership rates are not great, and there's nowhere to go but north from here. So I'm looking forward to reinvigorating CARTA and really helping it solve a lot of our problems. Parking's another part of it. CARTA handles all of our parking policy, and I think anybody that's spent any time in downtown Chattanooga would tell you that we need a more comprehensive and fair parking policy.
All right, I think a lot of people would agree with that. Yeah. You talked about, I talked about, you all talk about potholes. Your commercials were widely known. You're out there patching potholes, so people are going to tag you with that for a while. Yeah. As you say, they're getting patched. People will say it's never enough, but I noticed $190,000 going to improve our roadways. Where exactly is that going?
Well, you're speaking of the Safer Streets grant we just got from the Department of Transportation. The idea there is to integrate data sources to help us improve pedestrian and bicycle safety. Again, we've got some work to do there. The system we had for bicyclists, we have a lot of cyclists in Chattanooga. We need them to be safe, but we also need roads to be safe and efficient for motorists, right? So this grant is going to help us to do just that.
And the potholes are getting patched.
And the potholes are getting patched. I will say there is a bit of a semantic difference between a pothole and a road failure, right? So we've also got, again, we've tripled the budget for paving and potholes and sidewalks from $3 million to $10 million last year. We'll do that again this year. We'll do that the year after. So we're committed. It will take us some years to fully catch up. A lot of what is getting characterized as potholes are actually road failures where the road's got to be paved. And I think we got Davidson Road coming up, Dodds Avenue coming up. We've got some big roads coming up to pave. Now that the weather's warmer, I think the crews will be back out there, so more to come.
Very good. So this is for all you folks who told me to ask him about potholes.
Yeah,
All right,
that's right.
I didn't leave that out. New programming, city community centers. What's that about?
Right. So another initiative coming into office was really to relaunch community centers as community centers. We have 21 community centers around the city, and they're there to serve the residents of their neighborhoods. We have stood up new community advisory committees to help program those things and find out what each neighborhood wants in their community centers. Again, that space is available for residents, and so we've got 100 new programs that we've stood up. You can take a look at that on the website. I'm going to glance at my notes here and see if I can figure out where that. It's a communitycenters.chattanooga.gov. And take a look. There's a lot of exciting programming going on, not just sports for kids, but arts and culture, social services. We're going to be doing more around workforce development in community centers, but we want those to serve the residents, and we want the residents to tell us what they'd like to see in them.
All right, can't let you get away without the talk on the new stadium surrounding property on the south side. It was announced roughly 6 months ago.
Yep.
We were talking about opening up maybe spring of '25. Are we still on track?
Well, things are moving a little more slowly with construction being where it is, with interest rates being where they are. The work continues. There's a lot of planning and environmental work that needs to be done, and that work is happening. But again, with where things are, things have definitely slowed down, but we're moving in the right direction.
So still on target?
Still on target.
All right, it's good to hear. All right, thank you so much. Appreciate you, Mayor Tim Kelly, who will join us again from time to time. And if you have questions for him, be sure and let us know.
Yep.